I think it's running. Yeah,
Yes,
it is
you're
running, I
running
think.
now.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. And audio's good.
Okay, very good. Thanks a lot, Brock. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
I'll talk to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so very, very flat market here, just kind of moving sideways. And watching the Qs. Qs again leading the charge today. It's stronger than the SPY. The SPY's doing about the same thing right now though. SPY has been riding just below that white pivot point. This is an important level right there. It's riding just below that. All right, see if we got any questions. Dwayne, Google's earnings after hours today. Yeah, there's a lot of. This week is a big week for earnings. We get Google after hours today. Apple on the 31st. Um, Amazon on the 31st. Meta also on the 30th tomorrow. So a lot of big tech stocks coming up with earnings this week. That's going to have an impact on the market. Q is still looking pretty decent here as a SPY super system. Dwayne, crowd and profit situation. Yeah, the premium's draining out of it as it stays above 300. It's up almost to 309 right now. 50% on the SPX fly. Joe, nice job. Yeah, the setup is on the Qs. It's the strongest. It's the strongest one today. It's above the pivot point. See the white line? The SPY, you notice, is just below the pivot point, so you don't want to be taking that until it gets through the pivot point. And the IWM has been red all day. Still red. Not really a good option for trading right now. Shy spot breaking out. Yeah, Spotify had a nice move up here today. Again, off earnings. I think it has earnings. I think it had earnings. It might have earnings tonight. I'm not sure, but it's on the 29th. It either had earnings this morning, but it doesn't look like it. There's not a lot of volume. Probably tonight. Doug, you passed on that. Well, if you've lost too many times. You know, listen. This is not a big, huge, strong trend here, but I'm just pointing out that this is a SPY super system setup. It's not the very highest probability, but the market's pretty strong here. You know, remember it's come back from this big drop here this morning and grinding up. So, you know, in my opinion, as long as it holds the 15 here, it's more likely to go up than go down. I mean, I took this one, so I'm in it right now. Okay, so I got a SPY super system trade on right here, coming off of the 15, as the current time frame momentum here is green, telling us that we've got institutions buying to the upside. We'll see where this goes. Again, these are small candles. This is not a big, huge, massive trend right now, but it is trending to the upside. And you've got, if you get in here at the 15 EMA, the little green line, your downside risk is really, really small here. If it gets below the 15, closes below the 15, you take it off. And GH, I just put a SPY super system trade on the Qs, triple Qs right here. This is just off the 5 minute. These are quick trades. These are trades that I just trade during the day. These are not swing type trades. I have not put any other swing trades on. No. But I did take it. I did take the Qs. I took the 497 calls expiring tomorrow. I'm sorry, expiring today. The 497 calls expiring today. I paid $1.98 for them. It's trading at $1.87 right now. So right, just about what I paid for it. Hasn't moved much, as you can see, just kind of flat. Again, the market moved down this morning, and it's bounced up pretty nicely. The Qs went red, gone green. The SPY went green. The IWM, the Russell 2000, is lagging the field pretty badly. SPY is barely up. I mean, it's up 0.05%, and it's below the pivot point, the white line here. The pivot point above the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, kind of stuck in that range. It was stuck in there yesterday for a good long time. The Qs are the strongest one this morning, which is why I took this particular trade. How does NVIDIA look for a direction here, GH? I'm long NVIDIA from a couple of days ago. I like the setup on NVIDIA. This is the daily chart on TC2000 that I use for my deeper technical analysis. Pretty strong. We have a lot of stocks reporting. NVIDIA is not one of them. Doesn't report till the 20th, but AMD reports, and there's a few other chip stocks that report. So it could be impacted by that. So you have to watch it. But it's riding right along this 8, which is this white line. This is the 8 exponential moving average. It's really good indication of trend. This is the 15 right here. That's what I use as a backstop on the 8 in case it falls through the 8. But I like NVIDIA here. Q's just chopping around sideways. Yeah, no big. If you're in a SPY super system trade on these, you're probably going to need to be fairly passive as far as your targets are concerned. You want to take profits, relatively quickly. It's not something you just want to let run. I would say in something like this, maybe 20 cents would be good. If it gets there. Again, I'm pretty flat on it right now. It's just going sideways. Volume's pretty crummy as well today. It was very low yesterday. It's low again today. Qs have only traded 7.3 million shares. Average is about 31 million. Yesterday it traded 20 million. So again, the volume's down quite a bit. A lot of waiting going on right now. Waiting on the tech stocks this week. A lot of tech stocks are reporting. And that's going to have an impact on the market. Microsoft reports tomorrow. Amazon reports on the 31st. Google reports tomorrow. So a lot of big tech stocks reporting this week. Then you have an election, and then you have the Fed right after that. So a lot of potential catalysts for the market coming up. So I'm just kind of watching this Q trade right here. Again, I put those SPY calls on for last night. I put them on to expire tomorrow. I've got another day on the SPY calls. William, you just got out of APP. Yeah, beautiful. That was a really, really nice trade. Again, it's got earnings coming up. You took your profits. Really smart. and we'll look at it after earnings season. But yeah, that's been a really good one. To buy in the dips, it's been very, very strong. That's APP, Aploven. Up today about 1.5%. Tesla down today about a 1%. Again, just watching the cues here as they slide sideways. Waiting to see if I get a pop. If I get a pullback and below the 15, I'll just take a small loss on it. GHCRM looks strong, yeah, but that's it. Salesforce been strong. Got earnings on 12.4. I have some horizontal resistance on this thing. Again, I use these high volume horizontal lines based off of high volume candles. Typically, that indicates that there's been some institutional trading at that level. So there's the level I had for a resistance today. It went almost right to it, just slightly through it and then pulled back, and then you got another one up here at $300.05 on CRM. So I'd be looking for, personally, I'd be waiting for a pullback to the 8 or right to this horizontal line, but you don't really have a lot of space in here to trade it right now. So I'd be waiting for a bigger breakout on it personally. Again, Qs haven't done anything since I've got into this. It's about 11:30 right now, so we'll watch here for a bit. I got a sell order on my my Q SPY Super System trade. I got a sell order at 20 cents above what I paid for it. Again, it's right in this shaded area. This is a dynamic compression zone that the Compass system produces. This is our current time frame momentum. This is what I use for the SPY Super System specifically. This is multi-time frame momentum. These are the ones I use when I'm looking at taking a longer intraday trade or a swing trade. On the daily chart, I need to have these green or blue for long, red on yellow for short, and they need to line up. But on the SPY Super System, this is what I'm interested in right here. Current time frame momentum. Moving to the upside, I'd like to see it break out of this dynamic compression zone. And again, I'm watching my exit on this thing because if it starts to move in my favor, I may just go ahead and raise my profit target. But right now, it's just moving sideways. I'm down exactly 8 cents on this thing right now. Again, you don't want to see a lot of long time compression because it strips some of your premium out because of time decay. But it's still pretty early in the day, so the time decay is not really rapid yet. Once we get after 12 o'clock, 12:30, then I would recommend, if you're doing SPY Super Systems, if you're going after the Qs, the SPY or the IWM, use the next day's expiration. Give yourself a little bit of time, even though you're going to exit it today. Give yourself some protection from the more rapid time decay as the day wears on. Again, just watching here, this market's really not very dynamic here this morning. Just kind of pulled back on the open, ground up, and just been kind of chopping right now sideways. Gap down and filled the gap a little bit to the upside. Now it's just moving sideways. So again, I'm just trading off of the momentum here and the 15 EMA, the little green line, which is sloping up. So I know it's the current time frame trend is bullish. But we're getting very, very small candles. These candles are tiny. And if I get a green candle like that, I'll likely take profits. If I get a red candle like that, I'll probably take a loss. ESI trying to break out this morning. Had a big bull flag. This is ESI right here. Big bull flag on this thing right back here. See the big volume. And it's kind of sideways moving. Today we're breaking out. See, we're breaking above that high right there. Again, SPY the Q just riding right along the that 15 EMA. Again, I typically don't exit any of these until the candle closes. These 5-minute candles, I want to see where this thing closes. It's right at the 15 right now. Very flat market. Take a look at the SPY. And just moving again, just below the pivot point, moving sideways, very flurry. It's very flat market. Again, this SPY super system trade is, is kind of a borderline trade. We don't have any big trend to follow, but it is holding the 15, and it won't take too much of a bounce for me to get out of this. And I'll take profits pretty quickly if I can, because I'd much rather wait to see if I get a decent trend this afternoon. And just kind of watching the queue. I have that trade on. Watching some of our other positions. The crowd put credit spread we've got is doing really nicely. Stocks bounced up to 310. Premium starting to drain out of that now for our put credit spread. Again, we get in with $1.05 credit. Going to try to get out for 10 cents sometime toward the end of the week. This is really flat action in the market. I want to get a move out of this dynamic compression zone here, the shaded area. It's a dynamic compression zone the compass system puts in, and again, we're above the VWAP, and we're still above the 15. It's just kind of flirting with it. I might exit it pretty soon, actually, for a small profit, and call it a boredom exit. Let's see if it sets up again here after lunch. And really small candles here. I just peeled off some profits on the Qs. I didn't take it all off. I took some of it off, but I'm still in it. But I took about 12 cents on the first batch, $12 a contract, and I'm still in it. But this is a very, very slow market, and these are small candles. I do like a little bit of a breakout here above the dynamic compression zone, but I snatched some profits on the thing. So I'm happy with that, and I'm not going to let this one drop below where it is right here. If it pulls back a little bit, I'll take the rest of it off. Okay, I took the rest of it off. So I'm out of the position right now on the SPY Super System on the Qs. That's the first one I did today. It's still a decent setup, using the 15 as your stop here. But again, I took profits in it because I don't. This is very, very flat market conditions. We've got a little bit of a trend to the upside, but very, very flat, and the volume is low. SPY's doing just about exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to look around for some additional stocks to look at that have relative strength, relative weakness to the market, that are looking for potential setups. You're going to be very careful now today. You've got to watch your earnings dates, because a lot of these have earnings in this week and next week. So you don't want to get trapped in some of those trades with options and forget that you've got them on. Again, the compass system doing a good job of telling us whether the institutions are in there or not. You can see the Qs. So notice the Qs stayed green the whole time here on the current time frame momentum, but the SPY did not. So you can see here the SPY is underperforming the Qs. It's right at the pivot point, never having got above the pivot point and stayed there. And the current time frame momentum is showing yellow, going back and forth, green, yellow, back to blue again. Whereas the Qs are staying green the whole time, telling you that these institutions are buying this, and there's a volume mixed on the SPY. And the IWM, we'll see what that's doing. IWM is green now, green across the board, but it's not going anywhere. Again, you've got the VWAP right here. That's one of your trading support resistance levels. Then you've got the 15, which is this little red line that turned green here. And then you got a pivot point above here. So you're wedged in here. You don't want to be trading the IWM as a SPY Super System trade. The Qs are the one to be trading right now to the long side if you're going to take any of the indexes. Because the SPY has to get above the white pivot point. Gets above the white pivot point, you've got a potential long. But it's just not as strong as the Qs. Right? So I'm out of the Qs. I took profits in the Qs. Not a big deal. 12 cents. I mean, I'll take it, but it's a dead market right now. Microsoft up nicely today. Earnings tomorrow. Google also has earnings today after the close. It's right at the 100-day moving average. Again, I watch these on my TC2000 charts. I use the compass system over here on Thinkorswim. This is my TC2000 charts. There's the 100-day moving average right there for Microsoft, for Google, right at it. And again, I'm not going to touch any of these with earnings tonight, unless I do a time spread on them. I'll have to look after lunch to see if I want to do a time spread on any of these. All right, I'm going to go look for some additional setups here, see what I can find. I'll be right back. Doug, on the triple Q trade, did I dip below the 15 briefly? I didn't close. Did I take about 30 cents heat? Yeah, I think it was down about, I get in at 98. I think it went down to about 68 or 70, something like that. Yeah, down about 20 cents, roughly 30 cents. The Qs, by the way, are much more volatile. If you were trading the SPY or the IWM, you on a move like that, you wouldn't be down 30 cents. The Qs are much more volatile, and the prices move a lot faster. You can make more, but you can lose more on it as well. But in this particular case, yeah, I was down, I guess, about 30 cents. It's just, I mean, this is like a boredom exit. You know, I'm sick of watching it. I'm up 10, 12 cents. I'm taking it. We'll see, and I'll come back and revisit it later. The SPY super system, there's always can be trades during the day. So if anybody's interested in coming into the room and becoming a member, being a member of the room. You don't have to be here all day long. I'm here all day long from market open to market close. But I, if you can only be in for an hour here or 2 hours there, you can do SPY super system trades. And then you'll if you look at the Discord room, you'll see any particular trades that I've taken and posted. I haven't posted any today. I'm kind of waiting for the market to decide what it's going to do. One of the things that we talk about it here, and I've got some YouTube folks on, is that one of the rules that I follow in the room is to our objective here is not to make trades. Our objective is to make money. We do that by only taking the various highest probability trade setups. How do we know the high probability trade setups? Key thing we use is the compass system. The compass system, it tells us what the institutions are doing. This is current time frame momentum, multi-time frame momentum, long-term trend, and derivation of money flow. I focus on these two. For the SPY super system, which we're just using 5-minute candles on the indexes, the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM, this is what I'm focused on. I'm going to go long if it goes like red to blue and I get a breakout. That would be an interesting trade right there, but it would have to get above my resistance levels, which I use this VWAP, I use the 15 EMA, and the other one I was looking at was the pivot point, the white line. So that's the key thing, and it's very important to understand that not taking a trade is a trade. Not taking a trade is a position. Being in cash is a position. You don't need to be trading all the time. All right, I'll be right back. Alright, back just because I had to step away for a minute. Watching the Qs just moving sideways. And the SPY also moving sideways. It's coming up about 12 o'clock. SPY is just, we're just in a flat market right here. A little gap down, nice move up, and then just sideways. And again, the Qs, you notice the Qs have got green on the current time frame momentum, and the SPYs do not. So the buying is mostly in the Qs right now. SPYs are at yellow, which is bearish. Pretty neutral, actually. Alright, so it's coming up on 12 o'clock. Just kind of watching the market here and see if we have any questions. A lot of people in the room today. Appreciate that. So I'm going to look around again. This is a cascading up scan. When the market's going down, this is a good place to find stocks with relative strength, relative weakness. But here's some stocks that are moving up pretty nicely. CDNS, very nice. That was pointed out, I think, in the room yesterday. Again, earnings here on this thing popped up pretty nicely today, right up against the 200-day moving average as I look at it on my TC2000 chart. Royal Caribbean, nice little move up. Riot, one of the stocks of Bitcoin. Earnings tomorrow, by the way, on Riot. Riot's running up close to resistance. Coin is also another one with earnings tomorrow, and up about 2.5% today, right against resistance. Mara is another one, but that does not have earnings until 11:13. It moved up this morning. If I look at the chart on Mara, just so you see, this was one that broke out here this morning above the 200-day moving average, the purple line. But notice it's come right back down to it. So it's just kind of not really going anywhere right now. It's ARM, pretty nice move in ARM. Again, that's a semiconductor with earnings on next Wednesday. We're in NVIDIA right now, so I'm not going to add any more semiconductors. NVIDIA are up about $1.20 this morning, so moving in our direction. QCOM also kind of choppy. Here's NVIDIA again, stock in greens here now. Got above the pivot point. VRT also moving up nicely. This has been a nice stock, VRT. No earnings until February now. It's been kind of grinding up for a couple of months. Alright, so I just kind of watch the indexes. I'm just looking to see if there's anything that is a really good trade. These are the ones that are cascading down. These would be the ones that are going down when the market's going up. Mondelez, you can see they're pulling down. Pepsi moving down here this morning. Pepsi, pretty bearish. Earnings not till 2:14. Yeah, this is a pretty weak day. Pepsi is actually it's a decent short setup here. It's trading at about 167.77. It's got support at 166.85. So close to $1 to the downside potential on Pepsi. It's SO. Again, that's Southern Company. Also bearish, but right on the 50-day moving average. One thing I always look at here is on my TC2000, I've got my major moving averages on the daily chart. There's the blue line is the 100, the red line is the 50. So I'm looking to see what kind of support or resistance levels, how close are we. So this is breaking down. Do I want to take it short? I do not want to take it short. I've got too much likelihood of this bottoming out here at the 50-day moving average. If it breaks below the 50, then I've got a whole different scenario because I've got room down to the 100. But right now, I don't touch it because it's sitting right on support. So that's what I do when I look at the daily chart. If you hear noise, I have a news feed going in the background. Trade exchange where I can hear things and see things. They have audio in some things, and then they print out a lot. They have text on a lot of things. That Lilly news, like was it said dosing adjustments for Lilly Alzheimer's drug reduces brain swelling in a study. So that you would think that would be a little bit of a short-term catalyst for Lilly to the upside. And when the news come out, you can see that little pop. The algos read this news and they trade off of it. Here's the stocks that are going down. And if you were looking for cascading down stocks, you'd be looking for shorts. You want to take a look and see what they've done today. In other words, you want to take a look at the percentage change, and you want to go with stuff that's red, like JBI to the downside. Crocs moved up and now it's pulling back again just below the VWAP. I wouldn't touch it there. JetBlue moving down. So that's how I use these for finding stocks. Zim, and on the cascading upside, you'd be looking for stocks that have green on the percentage gain. Okay, so that just kind of gives you a little bit of a flavor for how to use these scans. This one down here is new annual highs. These are stocks that have all made new annual highs today. MSTR, which has earnings coming up. William said trade exchange pays for itself pretty quickly. Yeah, listen, I've been using this for when they first came out. When they first started the company, they're up in Connecticut. I joined them within the first couple of months. So I've been using these for however long it's been in business, a long time, and it's pretty good. I mean, you have to be able to analyze the news to see if you think it's going to have if it has any kind of staying power. Is it something that's just going to move the stock quickly, or is it something that's going to stay with it? Like if you look at this Lilly, you can see the algos liked it and then right back down again. They don't evaluate how important the news is. They just see the news and they trade off of it, but they can't make an analysis of how much sticking power that's got. That's for us to do. We have to do that. But the news feed does give me an edge, and I make quite a few trades off of it in a year. I mean, not tons of them, but quite a few. But it doesn't take a lot if you get a nice move in it. So. Alright, so just kind of watching. SPY got above the pivot point, but this is really yesterday was a dead market. This is a dead market. A lot of waiting going on, waiting for earnings, waiting for the election, waiting for the Fed. Fed's got to make a decision this month on whether they're going to cut rates or not. So there's a lot of waiting going on, which is why the volume's down so much. And again, I did take one SPY Super System trade in the Qs here this morning. I was able to squeeze out about 12 cents, $12 a contract. That's about it. So that's pretty small. I traded one yesterday. I think I made 20 cents or 30 cents. There hasn't been an awful lot of SPY Super System trades in a flat market, but in a period of a month, I probably have about SPY Super System trades, probably in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 SPY Super System trades. Oh man, my win rate on it's really high, between 85 and 90%, and I've had really good profits in it. And I don't include those in the profits that the room and the alert service have done. They've done really, really well, but I don't include those. I keep them separate. I think the room this month is up a little over. If you put 2,000 into a trade, we're up a little over 6,000, between 6,000 and 7,000 right now, which is pretty good for 2,000 into a trade. And we're almost at the end of the month. We still got a week to go, and we've got a few positions on. We had to take a loss. I took a loss this morning in FOUR, FOUR, big gap down yesterday, today, and still continuing down. I took it off on this after when I saw what I saw yesterday. This is why I got out of the trade. It was a nice long setup, but once it breaks my support level, I can't really stay in it. This was a really nice moving up. It broke through here. It looked like it was going to keep going up to around $100. But you see this candle here yesterday. That's called a bearish engulfing candle. I color my candle colors are a little different than normal. Green and red are normal. If I get a pink candle like this, that means that I've got expanding Bollinger Bands, which means the stock is breaking out of compression to the downside. You see what done today? It's gapped down again, so I just didn't want to stick with this. It's bearish now for me. Any blue candles are like a green candle, except I've got Bollinger Bands expanding, which tells me that I've got a compression break to the upside. So that's why those colors are changed like that. But that's why I got out of 4. Nothing really I'm looking to trade right now. Again, if you're not familiar with the compass system, this is the compass system here that I run on Thinkorswim. I don't trade on Thinkorswim, but I run it on here. This is where I get my indicators from. This is the main ones. This is current time, multi-time frame momentum right here. This is on a 5-minute chart. This is showing multiple time frames of 5, the 15, and the 45. If they're all green, that means they all have momentum to the upside. This was the current time frame momentum. This is a 5-minute, so this tells me that the institutions are buying the cues right now. All right, this is a derivation of money flow. This is a long-term trend. I use the 15 here as my short-term trend. Changes color as it adjusts. Here was red here, and now it's green. This is the VWAP, volume weighted average price. There was a white line here that's a pivot point, and produces a shaded area here called a dynamic compression zone, which is exactly what it is. It's a compression zone that's dynamic. It comes and goes. And I also put these pop signals, or pop out of the box signals. Pink, break to the upside out of compression. Blue, break to the break to the compression to the downside. So they give you a little bit of indication of where a good level would be to enter. Slow day. Crowd times the put credit spread on time and crowd. It went against us pretty hard yesterday. We got a $1.05 credit for those when we did the credit spread. It was up all the way to $1.85 yesterday. We were underwater about 80 cents in this thing. It's now down to 65 cents. So we're now up about 40 cents on this. And as long as it keeps moving sideways or up, these are going to keep coming down. Again, we have a sell order on this thing to buy it back for 10 cents. That would give us a $95 contract profit on that nice credit spread. Still watching the Qs. Again, it's the strongest index today, but it's not up much. A little over 0.5%. SPY up a little bit over 0.1% today, trading at 581.65. Again, I got those 580 calls that I took yesterday on the SPY that expire tomorrow. I took them off of the cumulative volume index that we were looking at. It showed us there was a divergence that was bullish and the market has been bearish during the day. So I traded those as a divergent trade, and we'll wait to see what happens rest of the day and tomorrow. Again, they're up, they're down a little bit right now, but not a lot. I paid $3.31 for them. I added some more yesterday toward the close. They're trading at 305 right now, 306, moving up. I haven't decided on what to sell them at yet. I'm going to wait and see. Again, this is like yesterday. It's very important to have patience. I mean, that's one of the highlighted things I say is to have patience. You got to trade in the direction of the stock. Use your daily chart first. Make sure your daily chart is bullish if you're going long. Make sure it's bearish if you're going short. Then align with the 5-minute chart. If you're going to get into the trade, look for a good entry off the 5-minute chart coming off of support. Don't chase it to the upside. Make sure the compass indicators align for you. Make sure that you're bullish on the daily chart. Make sure you've got current time frame and multi-time frame momentum, green or blue. And we do trade stocks with relative strength and relative weakness, which is not RSI, by the way, but I don't like RSI. I don't use it. RSI is a relative strength is how is the stock moving relative to the SPY or the Qs. And these stocks here that come up on the cascading up will be having relative strength at least within the last 15 minutes or so, because it's looking at 3 different green candles in a row. So the market's not doing anything, and some of these stocks are moving up. Then you got to look at your daily chart and make sure that they align. Again, it's a nice thing that this scanner is cool because you can just click on it and click on the symbol, and it'll bring up your chart on it, and you can switch right over to the daily and see what it looks like on the daily chart. So if I'm interested in these all-time high stocks, I can look at what they've done and see where they are. I see MSTR, how nice that is. Again, earnings on MSTR tomorrow, though. So it's handy and quick. SPY's got above the pivot point pretty nicely, the white line pivot point. It's above the VWAP, it's riding the 15 up here. Again, it's green for the day. Qs are even greener for the day. It really slow moving. One of the problems with taking calls today on the Qs is at this point in time you want to go out till tomorrow, because this kind of movement right here is going to drain premium out of the options pretty quickly because of time decay. So that's why after about 12 o'clock I usually go out to the next day's expiration on the SPY super system, on the Qs, the SPY and the IWM. And again, I got videos on all of the methodologies we use here. I got about a 30-minute video on the SPY super system, what you look for, how you trade it, you know, the entries that we're looking for, and the keys to it, which is of course the current time frame momentum, location of the price versus on the VWAP or the 15. That's the way we work it. And again, there's about a 30-minute video on that. I've got videos on all of the strategies we use in the room. Here's the Qs with a little bit of a move. Still very, very small candles. My SPY calls from yesterday are just about even now, down a dime, but it's moving up pretty nicely. We'll see if we keep on moving up here this afternoon. I'll watch it. Once I get into profits, I'll determine whether I want to stay with it or not. If I get in profits today, I'm not going to hold it overnight. I'm going to take the profits. Burns, how do I use the pivot points in my trading? Well, there's only one pivot point that I'm interested in. And it's the one that's the white line. Let me show the SPY because I think it's clearer on the SPY. It's this white pivot point. I had a couple other ones. I don't use them. They're not as effective. This one's very effective. And how do I use it? Well, I typically don't trade off of it as a support or resistance level, although you can. You could take it here long, but I much prefer to trade off the VWAP and the 15. But what it is, why it's important to me is it becomes support or resistance. If I'm coming from the downside, for example, and I'm breaking out off of the 15, I know that I've got pretty strong resistance right there. So I'm not going to take a long position just below this pivot point. I'm going to wait for it to break out above the pivot point. Which if I take it as it breaks out above the pivot point, then my stop is going to be my pivot point, which by the way is right at the 15 EMA. But that's how I use it for it. And to the downside, the same thing. If I've got a pivot point below my price, how far away is that pivot point from my price? Is it far enough away to justify taking a trade, or is it too close? If it's too close, I don't have enough downside potential, or if it's too close to the upside, I don't have enough upside potential to justify taking the trade that ruins my risk reward. So that's how I use it. I mean, there's a lot of different pivot points. You can put them on your charts, but I try to keep my charts as clean as possible with not too many indicators. I don't use some of the indicators a lot of people use, but on the daily chart I'm using the 50, the 100, and the 200. I also use the 8 and the 15 EMAs for my trend, and on the compass system over here I use on the 5 minute. I use the VWAP. I use this pivot point, I use the 15 EMA, and then I use my indicators. Because again, I want to keep it as simple as I can. And coming up at about 12:20 here. A little bit longer, I'm going to get some lunch, but right now I'm just kind of watching. I've taken one SPY super system trade today, that's it. I'm watching the SPY for my longer term SPY trade, the one that expires tomorrow, to see if I can pull off profits from that today. And I'm not sure if I will or not, but it's at least moving in the right direction. I was break even just a bit ago. Let's pull back just a little bit. Again, this AMLX stock that we talked about before, this is a real interesting one. This is a biotech, so of course these biotechs are always volatile. It has earnings on the 14th of November, but the thing that I like of this is a 5-minute chart here. Let me switch over to the daily chart, and you can see this is a huge gap in this thing. Here's the gap down on some FDA news. Notice a gap right down to here. And it's been kind of chugging along, and it usually runs right into resistance, trying to get into the gap, as the folks who were entering the trade here looking for it to bounce, and it didn't bounce. When it starts to bounce back up again, as soon as it gets up there, you usually run into a little bit of resistance, which we did right here. It was a 200 was there, but you're also running into resistance at the entry into the gap, because this is when the folks who are now even start to take their position off, because now they're breathing a sigh of relief. They probably should have stayed in because it's a good long setup, but they don't. They're watching the P&L, so they're just getting out, and they're taking the break even. So you've got to get rid of all of those sellers, and then you start to get a bounce. And it bounced above the 200 day before yesterday, stayed above it, and it's still above it today. So I like this. And the thing is that the risk reward on this is so huge, assuming it works. Look at the amount of room you've got to the upside. So you can get some cheap options on this thing, and it's got in the money options. Always use in the money options, but you've got about $11 to the upside in this thing. So again, it's a little speculative, but the risk reward on it is huge if it works. Again, I'm mentioning you should always, two things here. You should always be using in the money calls and in the money puts when you trade options, unless you're doing like a lottery or something. But other than that, you don't want to be trading out of the money puts or out of the money calls. A lot of people love them because they're cheap, but they don't understand is if you do that long term, you're going to lose money. Eventually, you're going to wipe out your account trying to trade like that. So you take in the money calls, delta of around 65 to 75, so that you've got some what's called intrinsic value. You get some value in those options other than time decay and volatility. So that's why I always take in the money calls, in the money puts. And again, I alluded to the fact that you should not be looking at your P&L. You should trade off the technicals on the stock, not off your P&L. How much you're up, how much you're down, doesn't matter. What matters is the stock still meeting a criteria for why you took it in the first place. If it isn't, then you get out. If it is, then you stay in. And obviously you got to take when your expiration date is and the options and everything into consideration. Still slow market. And maybe slow all day. We're going to get some big earnings tonight. In the next few days, that may give us a little bit of a boost. This is GLW. They had earnings today. Nice move up. Then it pulled back a little bit. Now it's starting to stack a little bit on green candles. It's Broadcom. Broadcom right at resistance right now. Nothing outstanding for me right now. Just a pretty choppy market. A lot of stocks that look good have earnings in the next day or two, so that they're too close to earnings for me to take. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can just go ahead and type in questions if you have anything you'd like me to answer. Any specific stocks you're looking at, or questions on the Compass system or the SPY Super system, and I'd be happy to answer them. Our AMLX has the 651 as previous support. Yeah, I mean, there is some support in there, and that's a huge gap. So you know, it does have some. And it's a biotech, so you know, how much is this going to move? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, you see a gap between 575 and 651. I don't see anything in that level, unless you go back. If it's yeah, you're talking about inside this gap from previously, but I was just using the gap itself. There are obviously people that are in this trade from back around 650, 700, so like that. So, but I just look at the current gap. CRM is trending, GH. Yeah, it's trending again. It's 298.34 is resistance. It's at 298.62. Then $300.05. So it's got about $2 to the upside on it right now as it breaks through the 298.34. But it's a pretty close resistance level on CRM. This is CRM chart right here. TC2000. These are high volume resistance levels. Just went through this one, and it's got another one right there, so pretty tight. It's a nice little setup here, though, and if it breaks up into here, you've got a lot of room on CRM. That's the entry I would be looking for, where I've got some really good upside potential. All right, SPY pulling back a little bit now. Again, right back down through the pivot point, through the 15, get the VWAP right down here. So will we go to it? Who knows? This is very, very choppy action. Again, I'm not touching any of these things right now. I took my one trade so far on this on the super system on the Qs. As they pull down below the 15, you can't really be in these right now. You certainly can't take it short because you get the VWAP right here. There's not enough downside, even though it's going to yellow. But you've got to. I mean, you can try it, but I mean, you're gonna. This is your level of support right there. So it's pretty close. And again, we've been green for the day, so you know the likelihood is it's going to bounce. Don't know it will, but that's what I would be leaning towards. So I don't really want to take any shorts right now. And so it's about 12:35. I'm going to take lunch here in just a couple minutes. Just watching to see if we get it, what kind of a bounce we get. Doing crowd trading at 310.61, really back up above the 200-day moving average. Here's crowd. This is our put credit spread that we have a 310, 300, 295 on. It expires Friday. We were using all these support levels right down here as our support. We had the 100 right down here. We had the 8. We had the 15. We didn't have the 200 when we took it. It was right above the 200, but 200 was kind of a support level, but it was pretty far away from our short strike. So again, we wanted to stay over 300 by Friday. If it stays up around here, we'll probably be able to exit on Thursday or so for about a 95-cent profit out of the potential $1.05. We'll see what happens. Again, it's been beat up by news a little bit because Delta is suing crowd because of their problem they had with their reservation in their flight system because of the hack. Lockheed Martin, a pretty decent short setup here, as is Northrop Grumman. Both of those are down pretty hard. They're both in bearish trends right now. Northrop trading at 506.58 with the support down around the 100-day, which is 488. So it's got about 18 points to the downside. And Lockheed Martin, a little bit closer. It's trading at 549. The 100-day on Lockheed is 538. So only about 11 points to the downside on Lockheed. Yeah, I like Northrop Grumman to the short. Right here again, you see the breakdown here. I'm more interested in the daily chart, of course. That's what I'm focusing on. Daily chart definitely bearish. See how we've gone to red here for been red for a while. We're coming out of a compression to the downside. Now we're continuing on down. So a little bit of a chase, but not an awful lot. I think it actually might work as it is an intraday trade as well.
On AVGO, volume pop, Broadcom and OpenAI collaborate on an AI chip development. That's on AVGO, seeing circulations on the name.
Am I still holding? Oops.
Remember, it's more
Am I still holding
CAPR?
CAPR? Yeah, I am. I'm still holding CAPR.
Social media now, Broadcom and OpenAI developing an AI.
Again, I like CAPR. Again, it has earnings on 11/12, but this is a really nice. This is a nice, really nice bull flag here. All right, see the big volume here on this flagpole right here, and it comes up, and the volume is dropping off. It's been down much lower volume, but it's just moving sideways. You see how it's following the 8, following the 15, and I'm looking for a volume breakout. Again, it's a biotech. These things can rip back up and down. So, but I do like it. And if you look at where it's been, it's at the all-time high right now. And I like stocks at all-time highs. They tend to continue over time. They continue to the upside. So still in CAPR. I got it right here. Right there, November 15th, 1750 calls. They're trading at 21.88, so we're about $4.30 in the money on those things. Not profit, but we're in the money with it. As long as the options stay in the money, I'm probably happy with it. Okay. And again, I like NOC as a short here.
Signs a letter of it on TV G10 with CDA tech to build up to 50 million R&D manufacturing facility. No impact on shareholder equity. This is on TVGN. HOTH, announcing update on cancer therapeutic HTKIT results.
That's good or fast. Do I regularly do these online sessions? Yeah, of course I have the room open all the time. You have to be a member in there. I do these online. I'm gonna maybe do them a few days a week. maybe 5 days a week, but only for an hour or so. I'm going to get ready to shut this down right now, but again, I just want to introduce people to the Compass system and to the trading methodology and strategies that we use here, so you can see how effective this Compass system is, and you can see how effective the room is. And of course, I have an alert service, which when I take a trade that I'm post here, most of them I send out on alerts. I do not alert on the SPY Super System. It's much too quick. I can't do alerts on that. But everything else, pretty much, as long as it's not too late in the day, or I don't think it's going to be just a half an hour trade. So we have the Compass system that you can actually get and put on your Thinkorswim platform. You can buy it and put it on there. You'll get all the indicators to look exactly like mine. Right here, you get all the scans as well. You get a month into my room if you buy the Compass system, and you can subscribe to my room, or you can subscribe to the alert service, and both of those have access to a Discord room that we have, where we have two professional traders over there, Dr. No and Savvy Trader, who've been trading with me for a long time, and they post some really good information. So there's a lot of information that is educational information here, as well as strategies that we use. So always happy to have folks join the room on the alert service. So, but I love the Compass system. Which room? Can you let me know where to join? Yeah, let me see if I can get someone to give you the link for that. Hold on just a second. Hey, Scooter, yeah, I just put something in the chat there to what phone number to call to talk about my room or the alert service of the Compass system. I haven't got a link to it right here. If I can come up with one, I'll give it to you. But you need to talk to Rory at 786-732-4656, and he can take care of you. And there's NOC bouncing off the low right now. And SPY bouncing up here now, getting a little bit of a after lunch pop right off of the 15. Pretty big candle. That's a pretty big candle. We haven't had a lot of big ones like that today. All right, I'm gonna get some lunch here. Just kind of watching the market. We are getting you notice we're still yellow here, so I'm not touching the SPY here. See if the Qs, Qs are doing the better thing. You notice the Qs are blue. We got bullish here on the Qs. Qs are definitely the strongest one today, so I'm just kind of watching that. I'm also watching my SPY calls that expire tomorrow. See if I can take some profits on those. Crowd's looking really good. Put credit spread, crowd's up to 311.50 now. So that's looking pretty nice. Most of the other ones are just kind of moving sideways. CAPR is up about almost 2% today. And Lunar is up about 1.5%. SMMT, which is another one of the biotechs that we took a spec trade on, down about $1 right now. Still sitting right on support. And again, NVIDIA up $1 right now, trading at 141.50. That's pretty much it. All right, gonna grab some lunch. I want to thank everybody for coming to the room today. Also, the folks that are watching on YouTube, I'm gonna shut that down now. So I will be back after lunch, back into the room. And let me see if we have any additional questions. Oh, so far so good. All right, thanks everybody. I'm going to be right back. Just get something to eat.